tell my heart, my achy, breaky heart, I just don't think you'd understand.
Technical problems. Now, Trace Cyrus, 35, says his family is genuinely worried in a deeply personal.
And as far as I'm concerned, to those people who don't like achy breaky heart, here's a quarter, cause someone who cares.
I read what you had written, the one name changes, and now you did mention Madonna, Cher.
Okay, you got me, it's all good. You cheated though, that horse got like a beat.
Been up off that porch now, can't nobody tell me nothing.
I always knew that his love and passion was music. There was a time, you know, when my tour bus would leave with me on it, Trace was on that bus no matter what. If he had to miss school, whatever, he was going with his dad to go make some music. You know, with every action, there is an opposite and equal reaction.
Back there, can somebody turn my guitar back on? We're going to sing a little bit more.
And Barney. And I was wondering, wait a minute, have you heard of Elvis and Waylon and some other, there's others. Life is a series of adjustments, and you make some good calls and some bad ones. And he's got some of my lyrics from some of my songs up and down his arms and stuff.
Y'all want to sing more, or you want me to just get the hell off the stage? I'll give it.
Spend a lot of money on my brand new guitar.
Put your hands together now, like that. If you encourage me, I'll keep going.
What we've learned from the legends that have been in our life is to be honest and be real.
Look at him go. Boogity, boogity, boogity.
Told me to kill as much time as possible, so how y'all doing? King on my...
Smart as you think you are, you let go of my hand, because then I won't cut you.
Better to talk about Miley 2.0 than her proud papa, Billy Ray.
She talked about...
You looking for this? And to think my billfold's not even in there.
Hey guys! Billy Ray Cyrus's entire world is crumbling after his son Trace just exposed some seriously dark family secrets. Not only is the Trump inauguration disaster way worse than anyone knew, but what's happening with Miley proves this family drama goes deeper than we ever imagined. Trust me, what's being revealed right now changes everything we thought we knew about the Cyrus family. Today we're breaking down why Trace Cyrus finally decided to expose his father, the shocking truth about that Trump performance disaster, how equipment mysteriously went to hell at the inauguration, never before discussed family tensions and rivalries, the real reason behind Miley's distance from Billy Ray, and proof that this family breakdown was planned years ago. Plus, we have exclusive details about what's really happening behind the scenes that nobody's talking about. And trust me, it's absolutely... Let's dive into what Trace Cyrus just revealed about his father, because these accusations are absolutely shocking. After years of silence, Trace finally decided to speak. First, Trace exposed how Billy Ray completely abandoned their relationship after getting with his new wife, Fire Rose. But here's what's really interesting. Trace has receipts. He shared screenshots of unanswered text messages spanning months, including holidays and birthdays. One message particularly stands out where he's literally begging his dad to just acknowledge his existence. But guys, what Trace revealed next will make your skin sprawl. Trace didn't just stop at exposing the ignored messages. He went on this emotional Instagram Live where he detailed how Billy Ray allegedly manipulated the family's public image for years. He described situations where they'd have to pretend to be this perfect family for cameras, while behind the scenes, Billy Ray was completely absent from their lives. The most devastating part? Trace revealed that Billy Ray hasn't even met his own grandchild. He shared this heartbreaking story about how his dad promised to visit the baby, but then ghosted them to do a performance at some small town fair instead. The way Trace's voice cracked when telling the story, you could feel how much this hurt him. But here's where it gets really dark. Trace exposed how Billy Ray would allegedly use his kid's success for his own gain. He described situations where Billy Ray would show up at their events, not to support them, but to network and promote himself. Sources close to the family say this pattern goes back years, even during the Hannah Montana era. Now let's talk about what really happened at that Trump inauguration performance, because what Billy Ray's finally admitting is absolutely wild. Remember when his equipment mysteriously went to hell during the show? Well, there's way more to this story than any. Billy Ray recently broke his silence about that day, and his explanation is raising some serious red flags. He claims all his equipment suddenly malfunctioned right before he was supposed to perform. But here's what's interesting. Multiple sound technicians from the event are telling a completely different story. But wait until you hear what the backstage crew revealed. This is insane. According to sources who were there, Billy Ray was actually having second thoughts about performing. They say he was pacing backstage, making frantic phone calls, and seemed totally panicked. One crew member overheard him saying, "Miley's gonna kill me for this." Then suddenly, all his equipment supposedly failed at the exact same time. But here's where this story gets really suspicious. The same equipment worked perfectly fine during soundcheck just hours earlier. The head sound engineer, who asked to remain anonymous, said there was absolutely nothing wrong with the setup. He suggested the equipment issues might have been, let's say, conveniently timed, and what happened next backstage will SIQ. Multiple witnesses say Billy Ray was actually relieved when the equipment failed. One source claimed they overheard him saying, "Thank God," when told he couldn't perform. But instead of being honest about what happened, he spent years pushing this story about technical difficulties. Why? Because admitting the truth would mean acknowledging he tried to back out of a major political performance at the last minute. The most revealing part? Text messages from that day show Billy Ray was getting intense pressure from both sides of his family. Miley was apparently furious about him agreeing to perform, while others were pushing him to go through with it. The equipment failure seems like it was his escape route from an impossible situation. Let's dive into these toxic family secrets that are finally coming to light, because what's being revealed about the Cyrus dynasty is absolutely shocking. The way this family operated behind closed doors is nothing like the image they presented to the world. Miley's relationship with Billy Ray is particularly complicated. Sources say she hasn't spoken to him since he announced his engagement to Fire Rose, who, by the way, is younger than Miley. But here's what's really interesting. This distance started way before Fire Rose came into the picture. It actually traces back to how Billy Ray handled the end of Hannah Montana. But guys, what these Disney Channel insiders just revealed will make your jaw drop. Multiple sources from the Disney days are finally speaking out about what they witnessed. They describe how Billy Ray would allegedly use Miley's success to negotiate his own deals, often putting his interests ahead of hers. One former producer revealed that Billy Ray would demand script changes to give himself more scenes, even when it meant cutting Miley's storylines. The situation with Noah Cyrus adds another dark layer to this family drama. She recently liked several of Trace's posts about their father's absence, suggesting she's experienced similar treatment. But what's really telling is how she responded when asked about Billy Ray at the Grammys. She literally turned around and walked away from the interview. And trust me, what these family text messages reveal is absolutely wild. The family's group chat messages have started leaking, and they paint a disturbing picture of manipulation and control. In one exchange, Billy Ray apparently told his kids they needed to publicly support his new relationship, or he'd stop helping their careers. Another message shows him using their mother, Tish, as a scapegoat for his own absence in their lives. But perhaps the most shocking revelation comes from former family employees. Multiple nannies and housekeepers have come forward describing how Billy Ray would show up at home only when cameras were present, creating this facade of being a devoted father. One former staff member said he'd literally schedule family time around photo opportunities. This family drama isn't just affecting relationships, it's seriously impacting everyone's careers. And the fallout is absolutely wild. Let's break down how this public meltdown is changing everything for the Cyrus family. Billy Ray's music career is taking the biggest hit. 3 major country music festivals have already quietly removed him from their lineups. Sources say it's not just about the family drama, it's about how he handled that Trump inauguration situation. The industry sees him as unreliable now, especially after those technical difficulties were exposed as potentially staged. Country music insiders are particularly upset about how he's treating Trace. Nashville has always been about family values, and Billy Ray's apparent abandonment of his children is seriously damaging his reputation in the community. One prominent producer told me they're actually removing his songs from their publishing catalogs. The situation with Fire Rose's music career is interesting too. Her debut single, which Billy Ray produced, was supposed to be pushed to country radio this month. But after Trace's revelations, multiple stations have pulled it from their playlists. They're saying they can't support someone who's contributing to family breakdown, and what these record labels just decided will S-chalk you. But here's where it gets really interesting. Miley's team is actually benefiting from all this. Her distance from Billy Ray is being seen as protective rather than rebellious. Industry insiders say her Grammy performance was specifically scheduled to avoid any possibility of a Billy Ray run-in. They're calling it a strategic family separation. The impact on Noah's career is particularly concerning. She was finally starting to build her own identity in the industry, but now interviewers only want to ask about the family drama. Sources say she's had to cancel several promotional appearances because she can't handle the constant questions about her father. Even Trace's clothing brand is being affected, but surprisingly, in a positive way. His honesty about the family situation has actually increased his sales. People are supporting him because they appreciate his authenticity. His latest collection, which dropped right after his revelations, sold out in hours. Now let's talk about how this is all turning into a legal nightmare, because Billy Ray's response to these revelations is making everything so much worse. His legal team is throwing around threats like confetti at a New Year's party. First, they sent cease and desist letters to Trace, trying to stop him from sharing any more family text messages. But here's what's really interesting. The letters actually confirm the messages are real. They're not claiming they're fake. They're just saying Trace doesn't have the right to share them. But guys, what Billy Ray's lawyers did next is absolutely mind-blowing. They're also threatening legal action against former Disney Channel staff members who've been confirming Trace's stories. One producer received a 15-page legal threat just for liking Trace's Instagram posts. But these intimidation tactics are completely backfiring. More people are coming forward because they're angry about being silent. The situation with the Trump inauguration whistleblowers is particularly intense. Billy Ray's team is trying to force the sound engineers to sign NDAs retroactively. But these tech guys aren't backing down. They're actually gathering evidence to prove the equipment was working perfectly that day. And what these legal documents reveal will make your skin swirl. But here's where it gets really messy. Trace Cyrus's lawyers have entered the chat. They're saying Billy Ray's attempts to silence the kids violate their divorce agreement. Apparently, the clause that prevents either parent from interfering with the children's right to discuss their family experiences publicly. The most shocking development? Billy Ray's team accidentally sent a strategic planning document to several media outlets instead of the intended legal threat. This document outlines their entire plan to discredit Trace and control the narrative. It even includes a section about using Cyrus's social media to paint Billy Ray as a family man while the drama unfolds. These legal threats have also exposed Billy Ray's financial situation. Court documents show he spent over $300,000 trying to suppress these family stories. Sources say he's even tried to use money to buy his kids' silence, offering to fund their projects if they'll publicly support his new marriage. This whole situation is far from over, and the ripple effects through the entertainment industry are absolutely wild. Let's break down how this family drama is changing everything in Hollywood and Nashville. Major country music labels are completely rethinking how they handle family acts. They're actually adding family drama clauses to new contracts. One executive anonymously shared that they're calling it the Cyrus Closet, basically protecting themselves if family relationships publicly implode. But what's happening behind the scenes will blow your mind. The impact on reality TV is fascinating too. 3 networks have already scrapped planned shows about music industry families, saying the Cyrus situation has made these projects too risky. But here's what's really interesting. Streaming platforms are actually fighting over the rights to make a documentary about this family breakdown. Industry veterans are particularly vocal about how this situation exposes a darker side of stage parenting. Multiple former child stars are coming forward with similar stories, saying Billy Ray's actions represent a common pattern in the entertainment industry. They're calling this the beginning of a major reckoning for Hollywood parents who exploit their kids' success.